Welcome to today's Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to share this one with you guys. Today, we're going to unpack the deep psychological layers, the tragic irony, and the ultimately empowering message behind what seems like a simple classic fairy tale. We'll be looking at the story of King Dunstan, his daughter Princess Sunny, and a genuinely terrifying curse of absolute silence. It's a story that asks some pretty huge questions about power, fear, and what truly makes someone noble. So let's just dive right in.
But first, think about this for a second. Have you ever held on to something or someone so tightly just out of this intense desire to protect them that you actually ended up driving them away? It's a very human flaw, right? It's rooted in a place of love, but completely twisted by fear. Keep that thought in the back of your mind as we go through today's explainer, because this is precisely the trap that frames our entire story. This is the catastrophic mistake made by a really powerful monarch who wanted nothing more than to keep his child perfectly safe.
Part 1. The King's Mistake and the Price of Control.
So, picture this. In a desperate attempt to protect his newborn daughter Sunny and maintain total order in his realm, King Dunstan descends into the dark, damp caves beneath his castle. He makes a dark bargain with Grime the Witch for absolute control. But look at the brutal irony here between his intention and the harsh reality. He demanded safety and total control so he could rule with an iron fist and keep his family secure. Well, the witch granted his wish, but the price was a terrifying curse. She gave him hypersensitive hearing. Suddenly, even the slightest little sound sent shockwaves of agonizing pain right through his head. And the most tragic part of the whole thing, he couldn't even stand the sound of his own beautiful baby crying. To escape the pain, he was literally forced to send Queen Morat and baby Sunny away to a neighboring kingdom. His intense quest to protect his family is exactly what tore them apart.
Driven absolutely mad by the slightest noise, the king transformed his kingdom of Avon into a total ghost town with these absurd authoritarian mandates. Walk barefoot, no whispering, no laughing, no crying, no coughing. I mean, imagine trying to hold in a cough because doing so could get you banished forever. And finally, absolutely no talking. The penalty for breaking any of these was immediate exile. It's really the ultimate toxic overreach born from anxiety. Picture what a kingdom is supposed to be, bustling markets, music, joyous children playing. Instead, King Dunstan created this oppressive, dead environment. Most of the citizens just packed up and fled, leaving the king entirely alone with his absolute power, his gold, and total, deafening silence.
But witches always leave a catch, don't they? Before vanishing, Grime laid out one highly improbable condition for the king's salvation. She said, "The curse given to you will only be broken when a princess arrives in this kingdom who does not know she is a princess." Think about the psychological paradox there for a second. How on earth could a royal princess not know her own identity? The only thing that can save the king's kingdom is the exact ignorance he tried so hard to prevent. This seemingly impossible loophole actually becomes the anchor for our entire narrative.
Part 2. The Princess's Identity and the Beekeeper.
Fast forward 18 years, far, far away from the oppressive silence of Avon, and Princess Sunny has grown up completely unaware of her royal lineage. To her, she's just a commoner living a normal, lively life. She spends her days listening to stories and hanging out with her best friend, Honey, a boy who can literally command bees. How cool is that? But despite her happy, ordinary life, Sunny is restless. She's obsessed with fairy tales, especially this one story her mother tells her about a princess who finds her prince and lives happily ever after. Honey actually offers to be her prince, and he proves his worth by summoning his bees in this really beautiful display. But Sunny, who is just fiercely determined to live out a traditional fairy tale, rejects her ordinary life. She proudly declares, "I am going to find my prince," and she steps right out into the unknown woods, searching for this grand destiny she's so sure is waiting for her.
Out in the woods, this really profound psychological progression takes place. First, there's a chance encounter with a stranger, right at the eerie, silent borders of Avon. Then, the stranger tells her a wild tale about a cursed King Dunstan who banished all sound and an exiled queen named Morat. He explains that literally no one has laughed in Avon for nearly 2 decades. And then, the awakening. Sunny hears the name Morat and she just freezes. That's her mother's name. She realizes she is exactly 18 years old. Suddenly, all the pieces click together. She isn't just a girl looking for a prince anymore. She realizes in this moment of pure shock that she holds the key to saving an entire kingdom.
Part 3. Breaking the Curse. Now, Sunny doesn't even hesitate. Armed with this world-shifting realization, she sprints across the silent borders of Avon, completely transforming from a naive girl into a courageous young woman on a mission.
The tension in the throne room is just incredible when she finally arrives. She bursts in, and her joyous voice shatters 18 years of absolute, agonizing silence. She cries out that she has returned. The king, reacting entirely out of habit and the searing pain of the noise, immediately screams, "Off with her head!" He's ready to execute her right there on the spot. But before the guards can even move, Sunny bravely stands her ground. She shouts back, "I am your daughter. I am Princess Sunny. I am the princess who didn't know she was a princess."
The shift is just immediate. It's incredibly sensory. Within literally 1 second of Sunny claiming her identity and fulfilling the witch's loophole, the magic triggers. By the 1-minute mark, the oppressive darkness hanging over Avon literally lifts, the rain stops, and golden sunlight pours right back into the kingdom. At 2 minutes, the natural world reawakens. Birds begin to sing, and leaves rustle in the wind. And finally, at 3 minutes, King Dunstan slowly reaches up and pulls the protective cotton from his ears. The pain is gone. The curse is broken. Nature and humanity are finally allowed to exist loudly once again.
Part 4. Redefining Royalty.
So the family is finally reunited. The king is overjoyed to have his queen and daughter back. He deeply apologizes for his horrific mistakes, fully acknowledging that his absolute rule was just a terrible idea, and he swears to never, ever make a deal with a witch again. Seeking to atone for his terrible reign, the king turns to Sunny and asks her what she desires most. Her answer is super simple. "I want a prince." Now, being a traditional monarch, he immediately assumes she wants a wealthy aristocrat with a fancy title. He promises to summon all the eligible noblemen from far and wide to bow before her. But Sunny stops him right there. She has a much, much better idea.
Sunny completely flips the script on what it means to be royal. She tells her father she doesn't need him to summon anyone, because she has already found her prince. She chooses Honey, the beekeeper. She realizes that the boy who protected her, who proved his unique magic by commanding the bees, and who loved her long before she ever had a crown, well, he is already a prince in every way that actually matters. By choosing him, Sunny makes an incredibly empowering decision. She redefines royalty altogether, proving that titles and bloodlines absolutely do not define a person's true worth. Merit, loyalty, and character do.
King Dunstan thought a crown gave him the right to silence the world, and it cost him everything. Sunny realized that true nobility wasn't about who you were born as, but who you choose to be. Honey became a true prince of the bees, and eventually the Prince of Avon. So I ask you, who is a true prince? One who is simply handed a throne by birthright, or one who actually earns that title through merit, kindness, and loyalty? It's definitely something to think about when we assign value to the leaders and protectors in our own lives today. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I highly encourage you to keep questioning the fairy tales we tell ourselves. Until next time.